Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden 22 offensive plays video breakdown, want to take a look at the Salem Passing Concept versus man coverage. And this particular passing concept is generally known for its ability to attack zone coverage because of the high load reads between the receivers. Now, this particular play that we're about to show, which is very effective versus man coverage because of the 4 pass routes that allow you to find an open receiver whenever man coverage is called. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get into the video breakdown and show you why this play is pretty, or at least this passing concept is very effective against man coverage, even though it's generally known for attacking zone coverage. Before we get to showing the passing concept, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual play that we're going to run this from. This one is called Gun Stack Y Flex Salem Pivot. The personnel group for this one is 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. The personnel group is 11. The play type is pass. The concept is called Salem. The primary receiver is the flanker. The routes run are 4, and the pass blockers are 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at the playbooks that you'll find with this particular play. And here's the playbooks as you look at it. You've got the Buccaneers, Chargers, Saints, and Steelers. We're going to go ahead and use the Buccaneers playbook for this particular video breakdown. Before we actually get to showing the play and show you how effective this particular play can be against man coverage, let's go ahead and take a look at the default pass routes. I want to go ahead and start off with the split in here. He runs the backwards C route, also known as a corner route as well, and with an inside release. And what he'll do is he'll take this inside release into this area here, and he will not get jammed if press coverage is called. Now, a lot of times, if you want, when you drop your quarterback back, you might be able to go ahead and throw a quick bullet pass into this area here. If you're going to throw that, one of the things I would suggest when making this throw is you want to throw it hard right to the inside. Now, even with that, if you're playing against an elite cornerback, it may get picked, or even just a normal cornerback. So just be careful when you make that throw. There is a chance that it will be picked. Now, there are also on occasion when he breaks to the outside, he may get a step on the defender who's covering him. The problem with that is if it's against cover 2 man coverage, which is what I'm running for this particular play, at least initially, this guy right here, this free safety might be in position to defend it. So if you see that safety breaking out towards the left, you probably won't want to make this throw because he's probably not going to be open. I just want to point that out to you. You can try to do it, but probably not going to be very open. Now let's work our way to the inside receiver here, which is the slot receiver. Now he runs a pivot route to the inside. So what he's going to do here, as you look at your screen, he's going to take kind of up where he goes up the field, and then he breaks towards the outside before breaking back towards the inside. Now at some point, he's going to curl up back towards the quarterback. I don't know why. I don't know why it's set up like this. I prefer him just to keep going all the way across, but in this case, sometimes he's going to curl up in here. But if you hit him somewhere in this area here, so again, as you're dropping back to quarterback and you see him coming across into this area here, you might find him open. Now, one thing you got to watch out for with this particular defense is cover 2 man coverage I'm showing is that this particular linebacker is actually in man coverage on the running back. So if your opponent is controlling him and he sees the running back not going out, there's a pretty good chance that he's going to kind of try to take away these type of pass routes over the short middle to mid-middle of the field. So you got to watch for him because that receiver probably won't be open if they're going to manually control that guy. So just keep that in mind. Let's work our way over towards the right here. Let's take a look at the tight end. Now, he runs a pivot route, what I also like to call a zigzag route. This route I feel is pretty darn effective against man coverage. If you get him matched up against a linebacker, he's not going to get jammed at the line of scrimmage. So what he's going to do here is he's going to go ahead and kind of take an inside release in this here. He's going to break towards the inside before pivoting and breaking back towards the outside. A lot of times with this particular play, as you're dropping back with the quarterback, you're going to find him open somewhere in that area there where you can make that throw against man coverage, especially if you got an elite tight end. So just keep that in mind. He's certainly a receiver you want to look to throw to with this particular play because he will be open. I'm not going to tell you that's the first read, but definitely take a look at him. As far as to the outside receiver here, this is the play's primary receiver. He runs his deep dig route. And I can tell you this, against man coverage, he's going to get jammed right in this area here. But as he goes up, he's going to round about. A lot of times he's going to get inside position on the defender covering him. and it's going to make him where he can be open, where he can make that throw. Again, just kind of watch to see if your opponent is kind of lurking over the short middle to mid middle of the field, because he could take this away potentially. Now, there's some other things you can do to kind of offset that, and I'll show that later in the video breakdown, but that's certainly something you can look to do. And in just a bit here, I want to show you what happens when you motion him to the inside, that outside receiver there running that deep dig route, because it's pretty nice as far as getting him open. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video breakdown. For now, what I want to do is, right now I've got this in press coverage. I'm just going to go ahead and run this play. Just kind of show you some things that you really want to look to throw to. I'm going to kind of go through each receiver. I've already kind of pointed out here. This receiver right there, you can see I made a quick throw to him. Now, if you notice real closely, without doing anything at all outside, it was just press coverage, that you can see got open. Now, one of the things, if you see, I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit on this, because I want to point this out to you as I zoom in here. If you see this happen where this corner gets all jammed up when he's trying to make that jam on that receiver, then you might want to wait till this guy actually breaks to the outside or towards the corner, because he's going to be really open. Even against cover two, you know, you might be able to make that throw, but that's what'll happen in some occasion. I'm not going to tell you that happens all the time, because it doesn't. So just keep that in mind. So that particular receiver, just kind of watch to see if he's open. If you see that happen, you might want to go ahead and make that throw to him once he breaks toward the corner. Or as I said before, you can make that short, quick throw especially against cover zero. If they blitz, you might be able to find him to the inside before he breaks towards the outside on that corner route. Now, the next receiver I want to go back to is, I want to go to this receiver again. We kind of talked about him. This is the pivot route that's ran by the slot receiver. I'm going to go ahead and run this. And you can look to throw to him to the inside, but you notice right there, that's what I was talking about earlier. If that running back stays in the pass block, that route isn't going to be open, because what's going to happen is this defender here, this linebacker, even if your opponent wasn't in control of him, he's going to go into QB spy. He's just going to sit right here. And that's going to take away that pass route. And that's why you want to hot route that running back on a pass route. We're going to do that a little bit later in the video breakdown. So watch out for that with that route. That's why that route's not always open, because you got to kind of watch. Let's go back into press coverage again. And this time I want to work my way over to the tight end. This route here I do feel is pretty effective, as I've already mentioned, as far as attacking man coverage. Watch him, because he will be open most of the time. He's definitely a receiver to look to throw to, especially if nothing's open deep. That's who I would tell you to go ahead and look to throw to next. And then I talked about this outside receiver who runs that pivot route. Against man coverage, it does take a little bit for him to get going, but a lot of times he's going to be open as he breaks across. And I'm going to show you how to get him even more open. And keep in mind, this isn't even the Buccaneers' top receiver. Matter of fact, this guy Johnson's actually number 4 receiver on the depth chart. So he's only like an 88 speed. So if you had somebody even faster, he may even get more open. So that's kind of it as far as a general thing of this particular play, without making any hot route adjustments. I want to just go ahead and point that out to you. You can quick hike this one or quick snap it. And if you got man coverage, this is something you can look to throw to. All right, now that I've shown the basics of this particular play and how it would attack man coverage, let's go ahead and show you with the hot route and some motion, kind of show you what you can do with this particular play and show you how effective it'll be. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hot route the running back on a Texas route. Now, I am going to tell you this. If you decide to go this route, and if your opponent is manually controlling the linebacker that is covering the running back, which he may, then this may not work real well. So I want to point that out to you. And we'll talk about that as we get going on with this. But there's the linebacker right there. It's covering, I'm sorry about that, the linebacker that's covering the running back. So there's the linebacker that's covering the running back as you look at it. And let's go ahead and run this. The only other thing I'm going to tell you I like to do with this is I like to bring this guy in motion to the inside. And one of the things I like about this is it always makes sure that I'm going to get that inside position. Let's go ahead and call press coverage as well. And you can see that we still got inside position on that defender. It's in coverage. Let's go ahead and take a look at that just real quick here. And you can see right now as you look at it, my receiver is in inside of that corner, which is nice. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to go ahead and run this play, and I'm going to show you what will happen. And this is really up to you if you want to put that running back into that thing right there. Now, as I pointed out earlier, the problem with this is, and you're going to go, when we go in instant replay, you're going to see this. If your opponent was to control that linebacker, then that could be an issue. So you may not want to do this. So say that they're in control of this guy right here. They're controlling this linebacker. Well, the problem is we keep going down to play, or running to play. if I make this throw here, as you're looking at your screen here, if I make this throw right here, and they are in fact in control of this defender, then what they can easily do is break off of that receiver and come back, or that running back, and come back and try to break that up. Even though, as we go here and zoom in, even though we get a nice open with this with this receiver here, the flanker, as he's coming across, see how much separation he gets on this guy? But because of that hot route that we did with the running back, and we put him on that Texas route, then we may not be as open. So I want to point that out to you guys, that if you decide to do this, just remember that. Just kind of see what your opponent's doing. If they're controlling that linebacker that's covering him, then you may not be able to do that. Let's go back into press coverage again. So what you could do is, let's go ahead and put the running back on a Texas route again. But this time we're going to go ahead and put him to the left. And this is actually pretty effective as well. Actually, in my opinion, probably more effective, and you'll see why here. The only downside about this is that this guy here, the one that I motioned earlier, the flanker to the inside, as you look at it, he doesn't have inside position now, but he's still going to get inside position, but it's not going to be as, how should I say, he may not be as open, but just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and run this right now, and I'll show you. Something else about this particular play is you got to have time to make this throw. See right there, we didn't get nearly as open as we got earlier when I motioned him to the inside, and that's the one thing that you got to watch for. If you decide to go ahead and put this guy on the Texas route and you motion him to the inside here to the left, he may not get as open. So let's go and run it one more time here. I just want to run this one more time. But we can still get him. He's an option to throw to. We still can make that throw. Now, one other thing I want to point out, I want to go back into this and back in instant replay. I want you guys to watch. Now, for example, say our opponent this time is in control of this guy right here. He's in control of this guy, manually covering this. He's going to probably cover the Texas route. I can almost guarantee it. Now, that Texas route could be still thrown to. We can make this throw over here to the running back. And if he's in control of him, he's not going to be able to come all the way back here and try to take this away. So that's why I recommend another way of running this is to hot route that guy in a Texas route and have him run it to the motion the running back to the left, because this is going to give you that option right there to make that throw there. It's going to be a lot more open where he won't control. Again, it all depends on if your opponent's in control of that linebacker or not. Now, as you watched earlier, as I ran through this, let's go back and instant replay one more time. There's still a lot of options here with throw to. We've got the tight end is another option, as I said. Now, if you're getting pressure really quick, then you're going to want to throw the ball real quick to one of these two guys here. You're going to want to throw the ball here or here. These should be your quick throws if you have to. If you didn't make that throw to, let's go back here and rewind here. If there was a blitz and you didn't make this throw to this guy right here, which is the other option, remember I talked about him earlier. If you didn't make a quick throw to him and you're about this time, you're starting to feel heat and starting to feel the pressure by the defensive lineman or whatever, then you got to make one of those throws to one of those other receivers that are coming across here. One of this guy coming across the middle or the tight end breaking towards the outside. I just want to point that out to you because there's a lot going on here and you got to be kind of just watching everything with this particular play. Now, the other thing I want to show is you could go ahead and put the receiver, or excuse me, the running back on a streak if you wanted to. And if you do that, then you could go ahead and put this guy in motion to the inside, which is the flanker. And that would give you another option to go ahead and do. So I just want to point these out. There's a lot of things you can do with this play that's going to allow you to get somebody open. Now, as you look at that one, if your opponent was controlling that linebacker, then he's going to have to chase that running back. And as you go into instant replay, you can see that we've got some more separation again, kind of what I showed earlier. See how we got that? And we got that option right there. There's a lot going on here as you look at this play that's going to allow you to get somebody open here. And it's definitely a play worth taking a look at against this man coverage. And I certainly want you guys to kind of look at it because there's definitely a lot of options. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this against cover one real briefly. I just want to show you how it'll run against cover one. Now I kind of want to show how this play would work against cover one. One of the things you can look at right off the bat here, I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at this guy. If you see this guy over the middle right here, you can tell it's pretty much cover one or possibly cover three. Just keep that in mind. If it was cover two, then you would have these two safeties split out like that, something like this. So this is kind of a clear indicator right off the bat that this is probably cover one. And that's one of the important things right there. Now, the other thing is I'm going to go ahead and run this play with this kind of the same idea that I've been doing. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy in motion to the inside, and then I want to go ahead and put the running back on a streak. Now, there's obviously some other routes you could put this guy in. You could go ahead and maybe hot route him on a wheel route, or it's whatever. One of the things I want to point out is you don't want him to stay in the pass block. If you do, then this guy will never be open, this one right here. So that's the one thing you got to watch for. When I say this guy, it's going to be this slot receiver. He won't be as open, as I pointed out earlier, because of QB spy, so he may not be as open. So that's one of the things that you want to kind of remember. Now, if you feel like your opponent's getting a lot of pressure, especially if they're blitzing, then you got to get rid of the ball quick. Or if you want to have a little bit extra time, you could leave the running back in the pass block, but just know that you're probably not going to be able to throw to that slot receiver. All right, this time I've got the receiver on a streak. And most of us, a lot of teams just don't have the Texas concept anyways. So this is probably what a lot of us are going to have to do. I just want to point that out to you. So let's go ahead and run the play. And I'm going to show you guys, this is against cover one robber coverage. You can see as you look at your screen, you got this guy playing the deep middle. And then you got this guy playing the robber underneath, which is going to be one of the safeties, I believe. All right, let's go ahead and run this and see what will happen with this. I want to show you that you still have some options to throw to. See right there, he's still open where you can make that throw. Even against that robber coverage, he's still going to be open, because as you watch, let's go back in the instant replay and watch this right here. See how that he doesn't drop far enough back, for one thing. This linebacker is playing this robber coverage right here. Even though he's dropping back, as soon as he sees this guy coming up, then he takes a step up to the front to go ahead and cover him. He comes up to the front to cover him. And when he does that, then it's going to leave. See how he comes up? It's going to go ahead and leave this route here. We can make this throw and complete it to this receiver still. Now, I'm not going to say this is as open as I would like it to be, especially if they were in control of that linebacker. It may not be as open, but you can still make that throw. Now, as you look back in the instant replay, let's go back here towards the tight end. I talked about him almost always being open. See how he breaks to the outside? You always got him as an option. Almost always going to have him. So just keep that in mind, that guy certainly could be a receiver, or at least a tight end is certainly an option to throw to. If nothing else is open against man coverage, that guy probably will be open in most cases, unless they do something where they hot route a guy into a flat or something. But other than that, he's going to be open. All right, the other receiver I've been kind of neglecting quite a bit here is going to be this receiver here, which is the corner route, or the backward C route. Against cover one, I definitely would recommend looking to throw to him. Let's go ahead and try to make that throw here to the outside. And right there, I just got picked. But that's someone you might want to try to throw to. Of course, the Saints have a really elite type corner, but that's certainly someone you might want to go ahead and look to throw to against this coverage if you feel like you got some space on him. Let's go ahead and run it one more time. This time I'm actually going to pass lead a little bit towards the left here, and then see if I can get it in there. So that would be another option right there. If you're going to do that, you definitely want to go ahead and pass lead it. You want to go ahead and press pretty hard to the left. Here's what I did on that, and I actually even rolled the quarterback out a little bit, but you're definitely going to want to go ahead and go to the left when you make that throw. So when you make that throw, make sure you go ahead and press hard left. That way you can make that throw. Let's go ahead and do this one more time with that idea there. Let's go ahead and put him on a streak, motion this guy to the inside. And this is only against cover one would I would recommend this, because you could get this right here. So you're going to make sure you throw hard left. Again, we got picked off. So just kind of watch out and see if that corner is really good. If that corner is really good, you may not be able to make that throw into him. So that's, definitely something you want to watch for. All right, so that's it as far as with that, as far as all the pass routes and stuff that I wanted to talk about with this particular play. For the most part, pretty effective against man coverage. As I said before, the two primary receivers you really should look to throw to are these two receivers here. Those are the two to the right side, almost always going to be open against man coverage for the most part. This other receiver over here, this one here running that backward C route, depends on the coverage. If it's blown, sometimes the corner might get caught up and he's going to be really open. And other times he may not be that open. If you do decide to make a throw to him, do not try to throw it against cover two man, because he's probably definitely not going to be open. Against cover one and cover zero, you might have him open. The downside of that is you got to make sure you throw it hard left, because if you don't throw it hard left, probably not going to be open as well, such as what you've already seen on your screen. And then finally, this other receiver, I'm just kind of doing a recap. This receiver here, he will be open if you put this guy in some type of pass route. This running back, he should be open over the middle. Just keep in mind, he will going to go ahead and run it one more time. I do want to throw to him because I really haven't thrown to him yet. But he should be open as he comes across to the inside in most cases, where you can make that throw there. Just don't expect to pick up a lot of yards, but certainly an option to throw to. All right, that's pretty much it with this particular play. I kind of just wanted to kind of go through it with you guys. It's something I've been running that's, I feel like it's pretty effective against man coverage. In another video breakdown, I want to show you how the Salem Pivot can be very effective against zone coverage. As I pointed out in the introduction, this play or this passing concept is generally ran against zone coverage, but as you can see, it can also be ran against man coverage. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.